also is a secret society of gay black men.
Oh, man.
Mainly headquartered out of one of the model groups for the rest of the country. It's Howard.
Howard University. Yeah.
And it's called a SSS. Secret Sissy Society.
Right.
They got their own secret society even in that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's a whole nother elite group. A whole nother elite group of things. And I think on the other hand, but the point I'm trying to make here is we must try to do some research to find out, was this a group that was established just by the minds of the black man, or was this some type of government conspiracy on how they actually rule nations of the dominating powers that they have to, because we do know that the secret society is based on something that they do in a homosexual act, that you got this on you, so therefore even if every man in the secret society is not gay, they will still keep their mouth shut because they had to go through some homosexual act.
Ritual. Right.
Ritual. That bonds them to secrecy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm quite sure, we know this is the way it is in the European sector, then I'm quite sure that this is one way to control black men by producing the best black people that you want to pick and make an elite group. You make sure that those particular people are homosexuals.
Well, what about the Hollywood man and Quincy Jones?
Well, here's another one. And it's and this disconnection doesn't fall far from the tree. To give you an example. Now we do know that Puff Daddy, they even had porn sites with him fucking niggas on the internet as far back as '97. We do know that the guy Russell Simmons is reported to be gay. As a matter of fact, Puff Daddy used to live with Russell Simmons at one time. You see what I'm saying? Now let me give you, let me show you the connection. Both of them are college educated, and Puff Daddy comes from Howard University.
Out of the club.
Out of the SSS, the Secret Sister Society.
Right.
You see the parallel?
Right.
And these people remain loyal, because remember now, it was your boy Steve Coakley said that all these Uncle Toms and Boule members, they get their mentoring from a collegiate structure. It's always on the college campus where they will get some person that works for the college campus that would mentor these guys into this society or into this particular loyalty that they will go out and sell out the race later on after they come out of college. Well, here's this SSS, Secret Sister Society, from Howard. Your boy went to Howard. Puff. And all of a sudden now, he's in this elite group that he would do something so severe as he and Russell Simmons recently in this voting thing would come out and tell people that they got to vote and get all the rap community to vote and put out all these big posters, vote or die, T-shirts, vote or die, posters, vote or die, and get the rappers that everybody love like 50 Cent and all these niggas vote or die. And they say they registered the most amount of young people ever in the history of America to register to vote under this vote or die. Right. And now we find out that all they did was sign people up for the draft. It was literally a government plot, because they couldn't track black men, especially black men, from 18 to 45. So therefore, in order to track them, they got this elaborate campaign to vote or die, and now they sign those people up for the draft.
Right. Because they first tried that shit on the Million Man March.
Yeah.
And then they come back now and say, you know what, because now they know they need these bodies.
That's right.
All right, so they got these niggas.
And now these niggas are signed up for the draft. Including, to let you know, and I'm going to go into the conspiracy even more, to let you know how the rabbit hole goes. Ironically.
I'm back with you, man. Seemed like we was hitting on something, man. And there was like a spirit realm just sent a flash through here.
Yeah.
But we back, baby. Continue
So
man,
now,
about the
let me break
conspiracy.
this down so that the people understand this. I started some of this elaboration in trying to go into this in one of my tapes, Inside the Gay Boule.
Mm-hmm.
But let me try to break this thing down to you. Apparently there's what binds these Uncle Tom niggas to go out is the same code which is used in the white secret societies. Is you have to do some sexual act involving homosexuality that binds you together with your brethren that you can never sell out.
On fear of being blackmailed.
On fear of being blackmailed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the black community, it goes a little further. In order for you to be in this social elite, you have to be bisexual. There's a difference. It's one thing for somebody to be a heterosexual that's engaged into a homosexual act for secrecy. But it's another thing that with the powers that be, these European secret societies that say, no, when it comes to the black man, he has to be bisexual.
Right.
So to them, that's a subordinate position. You see, although some of them are bisexual, in the white secret societies, a lot of them are bisexual in the black secret societies, and let me give you an example. Remember I was telling you about a friend that is very arrogant, and he uses his arrogance as a security blanket, and he's been in college since 1971, and this is the year 2004, and he's still in college. Now let me break this thing down to you how we tie it all together. We know that this brother is a government agent, and that's the only reason how could you stay in college from 1971 to 2004.
Damn.
And now you're 52 years old and you're still in college. In every semester he does two things. He signs people up to vote, and he does blood drives on the college campus.
Mm.
And his mentor is Jesse Jackson, who had his mentor at A&T. It's all in the thing with the movie that Jesse Jackson helped kill Martin Luther King in that documentary of Steve Coakley. Show you this string of things that's going on. So anyway, his mentor is Jesse Jackson. He's been in college since 1971 or 1971. He's now 52 years old. He's still over there in college. He signs people up to vote or die. He gives people blood drives, cloning, whatever. And I want to know something. He doesn't work. He got a security guard job. So how can you finance your college career off a security guard job when tuition now is something like $10,000 a year, no, $20,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Average.
Right. And yet he also can take a trip to South Africa for the summer, which all the agents just so happen to go to South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you how this thing goes on. So people are asking this question, how did this man throw away his life by becoming a student all those years? And they don't realize that his profession is a student agent. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Is a student agent, and he just so happened to be gay also. A part of an SSS, Secret Sister Society.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Signing people up to vote. You see how this whole thing is one great conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
that binds this whole black elite group together. Even the guy that wrote the book, Our Kind of People, about the black elite groups of Boule and stuff, is some gay type cat. As well as your boy Armstrong Williams.
Yeah.
SSS, Secret Sister Society. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just this one great conspiracy.
Yeah, you're right, brother, but it's definitely a conspiracy, man. I mean, it's gone to, like I said, a level. I mean, you know, everybody that that you talk to, Dave, everybody just disgusted with black people. I mean, especially when it comes to black folks, about each other. And the sisters are just, a lot of them just two brothers. I mean, the ones that ain't faggots are just straight up ignorant. I mean, you know, like you said about the brother on the bicycle. Sometimes, and I tell the sister sometimes you can get a hold of a diamond or a precious jewel. But sometimes something great has potential when you get the diamond in the rough. Now, a lot of these sisters are doing a lot better than a lot of men economically nowadays.
Right, yeah.
You know, they make a lot more money, a lot more responsibility, but a lot of them have gotten caught up in that illusion of their corporate world that is distorted their life to a point that they can't get no man, because no man comes up to their standard.
Which is interesting here, because what we realize is this: we can't use white women as the paradigm in how you gonna choose a mate. We must understand that if you are at warfare, you are at wartime. You can't do what you would do in peacetime when you're in wartime. And clearly, because there's this disparity, you see, between the black man and the black woman, and basically, it's a clear conspiracy that you don't have no man. Then you must understand at that particular moment that you are victims of some form of warfare that makes it that way. And therefore, you must proceed according to what warfare means. If you're in the trenches, you see what I'm saying? You can't afford to sit up here and be ideological and dream of some knight in shining armor when you at war. You got to take the brother in the trenches. You see what I'm saying? Because whether we like it or not, you can complain until the cows come home. This is all you have. You know what I'm saying? This is all you have. Not everybody not every black woman has the option to go off and get another person out of another race, because the simple fact that person out of that other race has to accept you. Now, even with them white boys that they showed in Ebony magazine, who had a national registrar of them, and so run by the Jews, one Jew boy, that had, they had a club and they were trying to sign up and get all these black women. They want to go out with these white boys, and they had a national registrar to do it, and they signed up about 40,000 black women in this country, and they had to cut the damn registrar off because all the black women was running to get these white boys.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it was that?
It was that many. They started off a couple of years ago, I think in 2000, with a couple of hundred on the registrar. And it's a club of white men who want black women.
Right.
And by 2003, it was up to 40,000.
And that was 2003.
That's one club in one particular part of the city, in one city in America.
Right.
With 40,000. We got some people identified as races that's on the citizen level in this country, that is a race that migrated somewhere that don't have 40,000 people in this whole country.
Right.
And yet you got 40,000 black women that signed up on this list to go with these white boys. You see what I'm saying? I understand the frustration and all the things that's going down. But my point here is it was so much until they had to cut the list out.
Yeah.
And this is another problem too, which I know is a government conspiracy. Ebony magazine is the one who made the story public, which is saying that the rest of the people in the country wouldn't be able to participate in this act unless Ebony gave it to them. If Ebony didn't give it to them.
Right.
And Ebony printed the thing.
Right.
Which means they're part of the conspiracy too.
There's no question about it. You know, yeah, because you find a lot of these magazines now, even when they show the standard of beauty of the black woman, it's usually the woman's light skin.
Yeah.
They very rarely show a dark skinned, beautiful woman. You know, like some of the beautiful black women we know, like Shannon and other women. They don't show a lot of dark skinned women as the standard. Yeah. Everything is always based on white female.
Right, take for instance, I do believe that a woman who could act and clearly was astonishing was the actress Judy Pace. Remember her?
Beautiful chocolate, Hershey bar black woman.
I was watching Cotton Comes to Harlem.
Beautiful black woman.
And this woman could act better than some other people who got roles in the 70s. And as a matter of fact, she is not in enough movies during the time that there was black exploitation movies out there.
Right. Because
it was a conspiracy to blackball her because the simple fact they did not want to see a woman that black
be beautiful.
And that beautiful.
As a standard.
As a standard.
That's right.
So today we would call Halle Berry a standard of beauty. You see what I'm saying? But if the people would ever see Judy Pace, it's no comparison.
No.
How can you compete with that? Black?
All white.
All white.
That's right.
She was the ultimate archetype of the original woman.
That's right. I mean, flawless skin.
Unbelievable.
Chocolate
she
black.
She almost didn't look real. She looked like some type of angel from another world.
Right.
And I'm quite sure that whoever was running Hollywood say, look, you got your 1 or 2 pictures and 15 minutes of fun. We got to make sure that you don't be seen no more. You see what I'm saying? So you are right. That standard of beauty.
Well, you know, now you spoke of Halle Berry. Now you're talking about insanity and what people do for money. Now, how can a woman play a role of a woman like Dorothy Dandridge and then come and let a real life hillbilly like Billy Bob Thornton school her doggy style on an R-rated movie?
Not only that, most movie stars in Hollywood, especially the white ones, they will take their clothes off, show their breasts and all that when they start out. Because,
right, in the beginning of their career.
In the beginning of their career. But when they get a certain stature,
it ain't necessary.
It's not necessary.
Right.
Case in point, Sharon Stone, showed her breast. She did that one provocative movie, Basic Instinct, which made her career.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And after that, she stopped taking off her clothes. Now let's take Halle Berry. Halle Berry had been in Hollywood at least since 1991. And didn't take off her clothes for 10 years. And then 10 years to the day, 1991, 2001, she did 2 movies at first. The first one was Swordfish, where she took off her clothes and showed her breasts.
Right.
And then the next one she did, that's all porno movie.
Right. Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball with a hillbilly, Billy Bob Thornton.
Right.
Which later on catapulted her to the status of Bond girl. And it's interesting about Billy Bob Thornton to let you know that people are watching. He said he did 2 roles that defined him. One was Sling Blade. And he said some people always come up and ask him to do that character of Sling Blade, which he said he doesn't do. He said the other question they asked him, and he said that's very few people that ask him about that because a lot of them don't remember that. He said, but one that they ask most questions is how was it to be, or how was it when you was making that love scene with Halle Berry?
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one asked question when people see him in public.
Right.
You see, which he so happened to win the Academy Award on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it was the same movie where played by a white man, where the black man was killed, played by that nigga Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy.
And they killed the black man off.
Killed her son.
And her son.
Right. And he was a redneck, and at the end, people loved the movie because this white man saved the day as being the great rescuer.
Right.
Which goes back to my initial question when I first started this, is black people got to find out what they really want when it comes to this security issue. Mm-hmm. Because this became a form of insanity. Our women will sell out based on security.
Right.
In so much until there's a phobia of when they meet up with a black man that is not in the same economic structure with him, not to give him a chance because this phobia that he's going to somehow take her down to another bracket. And there's a phobia on that particular aspect, or going into this real delusional mentality that I would much rather be alone than to and dream of a knight in shining armor than to have what I can get my hands on out here. Which brings us to your nigga, Woman Art Thou Loose. T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
Who reinforces this thing that you don't need a man, you need Jesus.
Yeah, you need
a fictitious character.
Now, funny you said that. For those who may be Christian or those who may be in transition, trying to find out where they are spiritually, qualify that when you say fictional Jesus. We know that it never existed by the studies and the timelines going back to the Nicene Council. We go by, Dr. What's his name? Williams. What's his name? Walter Williams.
Yeah.
Well, he breaks it down in detail.
Yeah, in the book Historical Origins of Christianity.
Yeah, well, he breaks it down in
Walter
detail.
Williams. But ever since the turn of the century, there's been literally dozens and dozens and dozens of books to give you the evidence that there was no historical Jesus. There is no evidence whatsoever.
Right.
And show you in origin where the mythology and the concepts come from.
Mm-hmm. Timeline, dates,
bibliography,
genealogy,
and all of this.
Right.
There's a mythology of the Christ which every culture had.
Right.
Which explaining an attainment of spirituality that can be attained by any man and any woman.
Well,
that was stolen and reinstituted into a bogus concept of some historical person to corner the market on the ancient world's ultimate oasis of spiritual enlightenment.
Which in most cases with black folks is emotionalism, because it has nothing to do with enlightenment.
Right.
We're dealing with because the white man knows that we are right-brained and very emotional, and they know to tap into those emotions. All they got to do is use the spirit muse through music, and what they call that thing, roll with the mouth. What they use as mind control. What they call it tongue roll or whatever they call it. But the bottom line is they have used religion as the primary brainwashing tool for black people.
Right.
And for some reason, most black folks can't seem to break free from it.
As well as black women.
Especially black women.
Thinking.
Especially black women.
That whatever went wrong in their lives, based on a fundamental religious dogma as a child, that because they did something wrong to offend God, in this case as an adult, offending God is equated to having sex, which comes, you're a bad girl, which comes the mind control expert of T.D. Jakes, who's government agent, to perpetuate this by saying you are loose. And because the Bible not really having a wholesome view of women, and the villain of the Bible is a harlot.
Right. Which means whole.
Which means whole.
Yeah.
Then it means that a people is stuck in the religious dogma, and the black woman who's prominent in that church will equate her troubles with having sex. And then you get this dogma being put on them by figures like T.D. Jakes talking about woman art thou loose, this perpetuate this. As a result, you have thousands of women in the United States becoming celibate. As a matter of fact, there's even societies now that congratulate women. Like recently, there's a society for celibacy, and it's basically pushed by the to black women, and it's the origin of it is from the government, because they want black people to stop using the sexual energy on the Shakti level, which is a part of the Christ resurrection anyway, which is metaphysical. But they got black people, congratulations, you've been 15 years of being celibate. So taking something that in actuality is a malfunction,
exactly, right,
something that is a form of mental breakdown, you see what I'm saying, or suppression, and repression, is turning it into an attribute. Congratulations, you didn't have sex. It's all religious based.
And it's directed toward the black woman.
Black woman. And she thinks that her problems in the society is literally because she had sex.
She's been bad.
She's been bad. Also, it gives comfort and it gives refuge to those black people or those black women who are frustrated, who can't get no man. Because of obvious reasons of the plight of the black man, they can have, because they can't get a man, they can now have this safe haven to go into these celibacy societies and say, oh, it's great to be celibate. You know, because every time I start fucking, that's where my problems come in. And psychologically, the slave woman believes this. This is irrational. Fucking is what brought you here. So this is, but it all starts back with that same religion. And then they got this crypto dollar to reinforce this bullshit and co-sign on this insanity. Even is going to, from a book to a movie. Woman art thou loose.
That's right. It's become the movie. And the black women have been the targets and also the victims, because they're giving up a lot of money to these preachers. I mean, big dollars to these preachers.
I want to go into something right quick, as the whole concept of to give you lemons, make lemonade. Well, in the spirit world, this is the process on how the resurrection and the solution is come about, and how it comes about, and how it is done. And let me give you an example. We know that we have, in the esoteric world, two natures. We have two aspects of ourselves. The one aspect is the one that we incarnate in the physical body, which tells us that we are individuals and that this life is legitimate and some form of reality. Then there is the life of the soul, which is the energy that is actually is housed in the body, and it is the sole source of energy that runs the body, which has another reality that say that it is the real being, and that this is only a series of illusions and dreams.
Right.
That the soul has been trapped into in an incarnation of this casket, a mummy dwelling, a sarcophagus we call a body, only a resting place for the soul to sleep until the soul is regenerated to a certain level to wake up. Now, what this means in the process of where we are as black people in the physical,
right,
and our mental illness, is this. If the physical condition that we were in was a trap for the soul to either be dormant and be asleep and dream dreams of a physical reality that we call reality, that and those dreams we dream, we call life, and we think that it's real, so much that our soul's activity is forgotten. And whatever this dream that we are in, this illusion, which is on all Eastern teachings, and ancient teachings, that this world is an illusion. Even the Bible talks about it. In this illusion that we call life, in its early form of the illusion, it was very strong, so much that it suppressed the soul and allowed the soul to dream until it was able to wake up in the near future. But we are now in the near future, which leads us to the real question or the solution and the answer of why we're so crazy. Obviously, we are atrophied in the brain, which means that as black folks, even in our most upward mobile position, we are a shell of the humans that we used to be when we ran society. We're not only a shell of that, we do not function on our true maximum capacity as what we used to do when we was running civilization. We don't function at that level. As a result, we're so late in the game until our minds are atrophied and basically our brains basically are on automation, which means there's not that much creativity going on.
Not at all. Let me ask you, since we...
But I want to say this one thing to give you a solution.
So we won't.
So, if now what we call the physical life, which used to be the container of the spirit of the soul, and was at a certain level that it was new enough to contain the soul and strong enough that the soul would believe that the physical body is reality, which was the problem. But now we see in the latter years that there is actually something wrong with this particular physical body because we're not operating at the capacity that we used to 3,000-4,000 years ago. Then that means that is the key. And it goes like this. Our brains clearly is shutting down. Now, it's like anything else. When you go blind, your hearing gets better. When your hearing goes, your sight gets better. Well, this brain now is not functioning on the highest level. And if they say white folks only use 10% of their brain, and that's because of biologically they get on that level, and they produce a society that is only 10% of the brain is used, then that means, and black folks being victims of that society is only using damn near 5 now.
Maybe, no, in some cases 0.05.
Oh, 0.05.
Depending on who you talk to.
Then that's good. That means it allows another brain to start working. In this case, that's the pineal brain, which is the brain of the seat of where the soul is. So when this brain shuts down, the other brain comes into being.
That's deep. That's deep.
It's called illumination through putrefaction. This is putrefied until it acts as a form of a new form of reality, because you don't have the same brain function to shut, which is the matrix. It tells you that all this is real. So as it becomes more and more dormant, then the original dormancy of what it used to contain, which is the soul, becomes more and more active.
Right.
And so therefore, in actuality, our plight is our rise. What is shutting down physically is rising spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Which is really going to be our only refuge and our only weapon.
Right. Thank God.
Yeah. And in this particular paradigm, this is what we're going to have to deal with. Let me ask you a question, Bob. You know, earlier, and you mentioned this on quite a few tapes, and I've had people ask me the question, well, if you don't take the AIDS test, if the AIDS test, according to the research that you have done and the documentation that supports that, if you get the AIDS test, you go on the terrorist list. What is a person supposed to do? In other words, a man meets a woman, and because they have been taught by the enemy that, first of all, that created this disease in the first place, and then come back and say, well, you need to take a test to diagnose you for a disease that they have created. Explain how does a person justify not getting the test?
Okay. First of all, let's go into a little history of this. Whatever the plan was when we first had this, when we first found out about this AIDS thing in 1982, is basically when the country found out about it. Now, I will not sit up here and say that certain things went on because they first put it in the homosexual community. The homosexual community.
Right at that.
Right. I will say this particular much, that whatever went down in Africa and what went down in the past 13 years, other than the past 20 years, of the past 15 years or 14 years, from 1990 on up, has been a conspiracy that, first of all, you can't have a real sexually transmitted disease in this country and have it run rampant, because that means that it would get out of control to the point where, as if you don't have a cure for it, everybody would have been infected by now. Okay, that means that in so many words that the only way that they can control something is to give you the illusion that there is this sexually transmitted disease and then kill you based on the cure. In this case, AZT, that was developed as a cancer drug that they couldn't cure cancer from and couldn't make no money off of. And as a result, they had to make money from this thing, and AIDS was the right scare to do it. What I'm trying to say is this. In this country, nobody is dying from AIDS now. People are being controlled and people are living their lives on medication. And the medication that they're giving them, so-called, is a placebo. It's something that they just give you. You don't have AIDS in the get-go. And you take this stuff and they're paying thousands of dollars to give you medicine that you don't need because you don't have AIDS in the first place. And it all comes back down to a selection process of conspiracy to tell you that you have something that you don't have based on the AIDS test.
And once your mind accepts that as the reality, it will create the symptoms.
it would create the symptoms, or it would create the scare.
Mm-hmm.
It would create the hysteria for you to go get on some type of drugs to keep you alive for the rest of your life. Now, if you're in Africa, you get on AZT and they kill you because it's all based on trying to kill off the population control.
Mm-hmm.
Kill off the population. But if you're in America, it's about making money. There is no AIDS. In Africa, they're killing them with the AIDS medicine, which is AZT.
Mm-hmm.
In America, they don't kill you with AZT. They don't kill you no more. They tell you you got AIDS because you took a test that they selected you to have, be a part of the conspiracy, or be a part of the deception to give you these expensive drugs so you could basically become a prisoner of these expensive drugs, and you gotta buy them because it's against the law when you don't buy them in the particular aspect of once they give you the AIDS test and you test positive, and the only thing that makes you test positive is not because you have AIDS, because the government say, this is the person I want to get some money from. Mm-hmm. And you test positive, and once you do that, by mandate, you have to take these expensive drugs. And these drugs are only being advertised in the black community. There's at least 3 different advertisements, one with Magic Johnson, but 3 other ones is advertising these drug companies talking about competing or trying to give black people the AIDS medicine. But yet they kill them in Africa. Now it's interesting here because we just met with a shaman from Africa 2 weeks ago at the Morehouse Medical School down in Atlanta. I went to go see Charles Finch. Dr. Charles Finch brought this sister from Togo. And she was a voodoo shaman, born in the voodoo tradition of the voodoo, they call it voodoo tradition in Togo, which I think is Ghana is on one side of them, and I think Nigeria or something is on the other side of Togo, or whatever. I forgot what 2 countries, but it's a whole voodoo shaman society. Anyway, this woman is highly advanced psychic, and you know what she said? She said she's yet, or when the AIDS patients come to her that was diagnosed with AIDS, she always get another disease that can be cured, but she's yet to ever find someone with AIDS that is diagnosed with AIDS. It is always some other disease.
Mm-hmm. Pneumonia or something.
Right. She said, but she's never even, and she's coming from the spirit world. She's never, so that means that if you just get, to have AIDS in Africa just means if you just get sick, period. Mm-hmm. They call it AIDS and diagnose you that and give you AZT and kill you off. She said, but few people before they go and get killed off with the AZT, they become diagnosed with AIDS, with any disease or any ailment they have. And she said she's yet to have one that was a true AIDS patient. That means it's a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
You see.
Because you know what, man, because I was explaining to somebody, I said, isn't it funny? In the porno industry, the example, mm-hmm. They do every kind of screwing you can do. I'm talking about, you know, the porno industry tends to be a damn near about 98% dookie love, anal sex.
Right. That's right.
Where they be eating each other's butt out, tossing salads, flipping.
No, this is the new shit. The woman will have a dick in her ass.
And then lick it and suck on it.
And then after the man get through fucking in the ass, it's almost ritual. She turn around and sucks the dick.
That's right. Like it's good.
Like it's a nutty buddy.
Yeah.
Whatever that damn chocolate ice cream.
Right.
Chocolate covered banana ice cream
right.
dip, whatever shit.
Right. Chunky monkey and all that.
Yeah.
Chunky monkey. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
they don't get. But my point
they don't
is,
get AIDS.
They don't get nothing. But my point is,
they got 1 or 2 people that say have AIDS, and the 1 or 2 they had. Let's say out of in the industry is big now.
it's thousands.
Out of thousands, they'll have 1 person that come down with AIDS. You know what that 1 person who comes down with AIDS? She didn't get it from the porn industry, because if she came down with AIDS and she's the only one, that means that nobody else was affected. If it's a sexually transmitted disease, and they all fuck continuously, and they fuck each other. I have seen porn stars fuck everything in their career, and everybody, and none of them come down with AIDS, and none of the big stars now come down with AIDS. When they had that 1 person come down with AIDS, she didn't get it from the porn industry, because they would all be affected. Infected.
Well, you know, they just had, when they had a big shit.
And I'm going to show you another thing, too. Check this out. Now, you know, they got these black guys, they in all the porn industry.
Yeah. Mr. Marcus.
Mr. Marcus.
Mandingo. 10, what they call them, 14-inch.
Yeah, all these guys, they're real popular now.
Right.
And the black women talk about it, and the white women talk about being with Mr. Marcus and all that. Guess what? Linda has a friend that's gay. And in the gay industry, they got a whole nother porno industry. Guess what? She said all them niggas that be fucking them women in the straight porno industry, they go to the gay porno industry and they make films also too. So here goes again. All this fucking going on. Now, supposedly the AIDS thing is supposed to have a homosexual link. Well, here it is. You got a whole gay porno industry.
And ain't nobody catching up.
And these niggas is fucking. On one Saturday, one day they fucking the women. The next day they go over and they make money fucking the men.
Right.
And ain't nobody got no AIDS.
Right.
And yet people in Africa, 80% heterosexual. You see what I'm saying? And half the shit is outlawed when you even talk about freaky deaky.
Right.
And stuff, especially taking a dick out your ass and putting it in your mouth like a nutty buddy.
Yeah.
And yet they got AIDS, riddled with AIDS. And ain't nobody over here got no AIDS whatsoever.
That's why they say, man, it's a pharmaceutical hoax, man.
It is.
It is a pharmaceutical hoax. Because I tell folks on a daily basis in the community, most of your diseases are given to you.
It's designer ailment.
Right. Most of your diseases are given to you either through the things you eat, the things you drink, and the atmosphere, like chemtrails and a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Through chemtrails. And so people don't understand that we are being bombarded continuously with germ warfare.
Right.
Or bio warfare. Continuously. But what we got to do, man, we got to deal with this. Look, Bonnie, what do you think people need to do, man, to get free from this religion, man? We can't escape this, man. This religion got a hold on these niggas, man. I'm telling you, man, it was black folks that got Bush over. Now, now we know that none of the folks had nothing to do with him getting elected. But based on the way the vote went down, it was supposed to be the evangelical, white evangelical, and the black evangelicals coming together to vote him on memorialism. Now, what can we say to somebody who's going through transition? Because you do have folks out here, man, that they don't know nothing else to do. They haven't quite found.
Well, first of all, the religious idiots or the religious zealots or the holy rollers are too far gone.
Yeah.
We are only sending messages to those people that's sitting up in church and they don't know where to turn. They know something's wrong.
Right, but they have no other.
They know this is irrational.
Right.
And they don't have anything to turn. The good thing about these types of tapes is if they so ever look at them, that's why we make them, there is an alternative. And the only thing they ever need is to know that there is this other option.
Mm-hmm.
And the other option is half that shit is fake anyway.
And to realize there is no greater power than the power within you.
Yeah.
So, you know, in other words, people understand we got to quit looking for a savior in the form of another human being And we got
especially in this case in form of a white man.
Right.
Because they just had a whole millions of dollars campaign with the Passion of Christ to reinforce this white stereotype of a Jesus, a Savior, so much. Until this, I'll give you two aspects of the reinforcement. The other day I was on the bus, caught the bus 3 blocks. It was the longest ride I ever took. Because every nigga on there was ignorant as fuck.
You know, the ignorant man.
Oh, you should have just torched the whole bus, disintegrated and neutralized the whole bus. And the fucking, and the snails in the trees wouldn't even miss a beat. Because it would be like life was never taken. These people were so dead.
Mm-hmm.
But one guy was on there and talking about how he make all this money off of bootleg videos. And he bootlegs everything he gets hands on except the Passion of Christ because that's God's video. I don't bootleg the Passion of Christ. So the mind control is working.
Like never before.
The other thing is, there's a link between the Passion of Christ and the white man being the Messiah again, which the white man has to reinforce and renew the mind control of white Messiah every 20-something years through his movies. You know, 1960s, it was Greatest Story Ever Told.
Right.
1980 was Jesus Christ. 1970s was Jesus Christ Superstar, the play.
Right.
In the musical. 1980 was the last temptation of Christ.
Right.
You see, it was not till the 1980s and in the 1990s, there was some other Christ thing that went on.
Right.
And they got some TV specials.
Right.
And they got to keep renewing this thing.
Right. Miniseries. Yeah.
Miniseries. The point I'm trying to make here is it's working, but got to understand this particular part. To show you the great mystery on why they have to reinforce that is in the book, The Messianic Legacy. It explains how the President of the United States, the whole concept of you looking for a human being to somehow make your conditions better is set up under the same ritual as the Jesus Christ thing, or this Messiah Messianic ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to give you 2 incidents on how that happened is, my sister Aviva in Atlanta said she was living in Ghana when Bill Clinton came in 1997. And she got up one morning and the Africans was running all around with their little big old hats on their Sunday go to meeting clothes because they're all Christians now. Mm-hmm. See, they're Christians. By the millions in Africa now.
Ridiculous. And
so they got on all their little Sunday go to meeting clothes and stuff, looking like black people in the 1950s.
Right.
Instead of some of the clothes from the 1950s.
Right.
Because they give them all this old ass shit from England.
Right.
And they're running around saying, she woke up one morning and she said, all the people was going crazy. She said, what's going on? They said, we're going to see the Messiah. We're going to see the Messiah. She thought it was a new day. She thought, oh shit. Well, I'm going to go see what y'all looking at. Who is this Messiah? When she got down there, it was Bill Clinton. So we saw that done to the Africans. Now, subconsciously, it's the same sophistication on another level when it comes to black people in this country. So they did the Passion of Christ at the first part of the year. Then they had this election and give these black people a false sense of hope. They give you Jim Carrey. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the only thing these crackers got to have between him and Bush is a head full of hair. It's an archetype. Mm-hmm. And to be a certain age that they don't look 60. They're in their 50s. But to have a youthful appearance, which is actually what got Clinton over. Right. For 8 years, and they loved him to death, is because he didn't look like somebody's father. He looked like somebody that, on a sexual level, because of his age, they could still see going to bed with him. Well, Kerry looked younger than Bush. Right. And black people just saw this passion of Christ, and then they going and voting for Kerry thinking, here goes again, as the book says, the Messianic legacy, that you are voting for somebody to change your life and change your condition, but that in hopes that your condition might change. It's the same thing as going to see the Messiah or trying to elect the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? In this particular case, only thing the evangelical preachers had to do is to say that Bush, the criminal, thug,
that's it,
gangbanger,
that's it,
liar,
that's it,
is the man of God.
mm-hmm.
And these people overwhelmingly elect him because they just saw the passion of Christ
Mm-hmm.
to renew the white Jesus Christ image. And now here it is, you got Bush paying off these damn churches and masquerading as a religious man, and bam, you put two to two together.
Mm-hmm.
What you got? You got Negroes voting for Bush,
Yep.
and some Kerry thinking he's going to be the Messiah in the political aspect of helping them. But Bush with his moral answer,
Mm-hmm.
and bam, this white image of Jesus Christ worked from the beginning of the year with the movie on into the damn election with your choice of two white men. One, as some false sense of hope that this Kerry is going to make your conditions better, and the other one is a man, which is one of the worst criminals ever, masquerading as a religious man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And
Only because they paid off some black preachers to validate him
right.
as the religious man.
Well, in your opinion, man, what is your feeling for black preachers? How you feel about black preachers?
I feel that black preachers, a great deal of them have deceived the people.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of them that was in my circle when I was learning this same black consciousness in my incubation period, in my inception period, when I first learned that the Jesus thing was nothing but a copy of the Horus myth and a stolen legacy of the ancient African societies and the ancient societies from around the world. I know black men that was right there along with me when I first heard that, and they're now preachers.
Mm-hmm.
So these fools know better.
Mm-hmm.
I know other ones around that at some point in their life, they are faced with the truth.
Right.
And because of some economic and political move, here goes again, black people going crazy off of money, that they would rather suppress the truth and lie to their fellow brother and sister.
Just to get paid.
Just to get paid. Just to get paid. So me personally, I think they're swine. Now, for some black man in Mississippi and Alabama that never was exposed to nothing but that, and that's all they know, no matter how contradictory, how much of a contradiction it is, the religion itself, they don't know of any alternatives.
Right.
So I will give someone of humble origin that is not exposed
To anything.
to any other information and knowledge outside of what they were taught as a child, I will give them a break.
Right.
Because I can travel to the remote parts of the country, down south, where some people been in a little small town all their life, and they preaching, and they never heard nothing else.
Right.
And whatever they heard of any outside alternative religion was given to them, was bias given to them by the TV.
Right. Negative.
As negative,
Mm-hmm.
that's false.
Right.
And they was never privy to data to give them an inquiry into something else.
So in your opinion, man.
So I would say those particular ones, I can't blame.
Right. You get
But
it?
I'll guarantee you this, 98% of the ones become of world stature that is big enough to be some kind of a little jackleg preacher in a small town.
Right.
And those ones are always exposed to other information. It's hard not to be.
Right.
And those particular ones are swine, and they are the damn enemy.
They're the enemy of the people.
And they need to be dealt with, and they will be dealt with.
Severely.
Severely. Elijah Muhammad had a prophecy that one day that Allah was going to kill the black preacher.
Yeah, because again, you know, the preacher has an enormous amount of influence over large groups of people.
Right.
Because we always been told that the preacher is supposed to be, and then you know what? When you read the scriptures, it says that the preacher is really a servant of God. He ain't supposed to be held in the esteem that he's put at.
Right.
The preacher is not supposed to be held in no esteem.
Not only that, especially now, majority of our people are Christians.
Yeah.
Make no bones about it.
Right.
In Christianity, you say you are a Christian. It was a poor people's campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was the quintessential poor man.
Right.
Now look at this. The man that they say that they love, if you go by the historical Jesus,
Right.
which they, if they are preaching on this, they are supposed to believe in that,
Mm-hmm.
was a poor man.
That's right. If he was to show up according to what they were taught right now, they would reject him straight up.
That's right.
Because he ain't
They would have that nigga locked up.
That's right. In other words, the Jesus, the historical Jesus, the mythology, the one that came in on the ass, if he ain't dropping a Lex ass, they gonna tell him to kiss ass.
That's right.
And on that note, hold tight, man. We'll be back in a minute. We're gonna do a couple more questions, man, and we're gonna wrap this up, man. Because again, I'm thankful, man. We got another opportunity to do this third installment on mental illness in the black community, the illusion of perception. Probably, man, talking about this religion, and you know, you finish where we at, man.
Like I was saying, this thing has gone too far. Because, like I said, they claim they love Jesus so much, and Jesus was a poor man. The campaign was a poor man campaign.
Right.
For those ones who believe in the historical Jesus.
Right.
If we're not going into that argument,
Right.
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
How could you see, deal with what you're dealing with at the expense of the people? Because here goes again. Our people really, and especially these preachers, and this has always been said, there was a joke about that, they really don't even believe in God and the hereafter and all that type of stuff. Because they so busy trying to get their Cadillacs, or excuse me, Lexus
and Mercedes.
Mercedes, and
Right.
whatever.
And you fuck with them Cadillacs. Them
Right.
Cadillacs ain't shit
I'm
now.
sorry. I had a flashback to the 70s.
Yeah.
Or the 80s.
That's right.
They're Mercedes, the Lexus, the BMWs, or whatever.
Right.
So they not trying to hear nothing about no hereafter. As a matter of fact, Jesse Jackson, the other day, dealing with the guy who was an atheist, on the politically incorrect Bill Maher. And Bill Maher was making this thing saying there ain't going to be no such thing as no end of the world. But you know, most white people that's on top really dread that question. There's never not going to be no end of the world, man. Why are people even talking about this type of thing? And Jesse Jackson, who is supposed to be a preacher now, look at this. The Reverend Jesse Jackson on national TV agreed with him that there's not going to be no end of no world.
Mm.
Now here it is. Here's a man that, in order for him to come to the black community to be accepted as some type of figure,
Mm-hmm.
he chose to call himself a reverend, a preacher. And according to his doctrine, there's supposed to be the end of the world. Well, according to I have yet to see any religious doctrine where the metaphysical or even mundane when they didn't talk about some reality changing. And Jesse Jackson admits week before last on cable, on HBO, that there is no such thing as no end, because he's being with this white man here because they don't want to hear that. And and basically it negates his whole structure of being a preacher and duping the black community. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
In religion, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Or Uncle Tom in by way of religion.
Right.
So it goes to say, if this man can stand up in 2004 and tell the people, hey, I never really believed in that in the first place. It was all the advancement of my career. What the fuck do you think it is when it comes to these same doggone Creflo Dollar, Bishop Eddie Long, T.D. Jakes, and all of them? It's all about money. And the last person to ever want something to change would be a fucking preacher.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
And Jesse Jackson summed up the mindset of what all of them think. Otherwise, if they believed in the end, they wouldn't dare sell the damn people out the way they did. If they believed in even in Jesus, who ran the money changers away from the temple.
That's right. Because everything you see in modern day Christianity is just a contradiction of what they teach.
Yeah, completely.
It's complete. What they say in modern day Christianity is a complete contradiction of what they teach.
Yeah.
And so therefore, it just boggles me why people don't say, wait a minute, this ain't where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because now we live in a time now where any fucking thing goes. You see what I'm saying? In other words, the Bible that the Christian use as the standard is no longer the fucking litmus test.
No.
No, look, hold on, I'm just holding
They just brought a whole new paradigm in the last 10 years.
I want you to hold
The litmus test.
Let me take a shot at that book. For those who are caught up in Christianity and don't really know what to do.
Start with this one.
Start with this book right here. Start with this book right here, because it's gonna give you timelines. And Dr. Williams probably did this better than anybody I've seen as far as giving you somewhere to start on getting some answers, because he not only told you certain things, but he gave you timelines and a bibliography at the end, where he gives you extensive research. Now, hold that book still. Let me get this in. Let me scan this up close. Okay, and what it says here, there has never been a man that ever walked earth in human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ. Now,
the name of the book is called The Historical Origins of Christianity
by
by Walter Williams, the revised edition.
Revised edition, because he came out with it before, he went back in, and just more. And stand by, because I'm gonna get you the one on Islam too. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
There's a historical. Well, there is. You don't even have to show the book. There is the
No,
historical origins of Islam by the same author.
No, I'm gonna show it too, nigga, because some Islam niggas be talking shit now, so I'm gonna hit their ass too. Because we ain't fuck the bullshit. We ain't playing no more with this shit.
Yeah.
Niggas gotta get out of religion. We gotta get out of the paradigm of religion.
And for those ones who want to have further study, there's two good books out. One called The Jesus Mystery by Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak, as well as another book called Jesus and the Lost Goddess by Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, show them that book.
This is one of them. There's the first one is called The Jesus Mystery by Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak.
Let me snap this here. I'm going to freeze this thing. Okay. Now, y'all see that ankh up there? Y'all don't see no claws. That is a picture of an Egyptian ankh.
That's right.
All right, let me
Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak. And this one is called Jesus and the Lost Goddess. Get both books.
Got to have them.
I want to show them the other book in the back of the book that I want them to also get. Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I got it.
This is the other book by Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak called The Jesus Mystery.
Okay.
It came out in 2001, and I think the other one, this one, is the second book, Jesus and the Lost Goddess. And all, just ongoing study. And this is just the newer stuff from earlier stuff, like Gerald Massey's Historical Jesus, Mystical Christ. Christianity Before Christ by John G. Jackson. Who is This King of Glory by Alvin Boyd Kuhn. Lost Light by Alvin Boyd Kuhn. Celestial Ship of the North, E. Valencia Straighton. The historical origins of Hebrew in historical origins of the Old Testament in Charles Finch's book, Echoes of the Old Dark Land, Themes from an African Eden, Dr. Charles Finch. And it goes on and on and on. There's a new book also called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Never told.
By this white girl that just put out a book on the astrological origins of Christianity. Tons and tons of information out on, the Christian conspiracy and all. Yeah, several books.
And look, and Bob, I want to introduce a book
that
I want to introduce right now by a brother named Jose Villegas III. He wrote a book called Emotional Prisoner, Being Trapped Behind the Bars of My Thoughts. We got to get, and matter of fact, Bob, I got to make sure you get that in your library, because this brother done the work that is incredible. That'll help set you free, because again, we are prisoners behind our thinking.
Right.
And we got to change our thinking, because thoughts are things, and what you think, what you conceive, what you believe, and what you speak becomes your fucking reality.
Yeah.
Okay? So we got to move the bars from my brain.
I want to go into one aspect on how this is done. Because we've had several black people who have read these books, gone to black conscious meetings for over 10 years, 4, 5, 6 years.
And went back to the fucking church.
And heard the truth and went back to the church. And you say, how can a person be presented with the truth and go back to the church? Well, two things. The first of all, one guy who was writing a book, Jason S. Black, white boy, wrote the book, Urban Voodoo. He said, well, what was it that drew him in to the religious setting when he was a devout Christian? He said, well, one thing that he realized after he came to his senses, he said, but what was different between then and now? He said he had a whole bunch of friends when he was a Christian. So the first thing happens here is that some people are afraid to lose their social group.
Exactly.
And they feel alienated once they leave that cult, because Christianity is the biggest cult going.
Biggest.
So they feel alienated. That's one aspect. The other aspect has something to do with the metaphysical process of mind control. And that is this. You are given something as a child, and it has to deal with the effect of the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind automatically accepts what you give it. It accepts it as the truth, and it acts upon what you give it. So you program it. It accepts that as being reality. And then it acts upon that. Now, if you give it wrong information, if you give it that first, it accepts that wrong information as being truth and reality. And it acts upon that wrong information. Then when right information comes, the subconscious mind rejects the right information because it has received the cancer of the wrong information, you see what I'm saying, prior to the new information coming, which could be the right information.
Right.
Now, in this particular case, most people are given this religion at an early age. And so what happens here is later on, based on some type of social phenomenon, they find themselves going to different meetings accessing different books only because it's the in thing to do. It's the fad. It's the new high. So they get into all of this particular conscious information. But they never released the wrong material that is dormant in the subconscious mind and is still acting as that is being the ultimate reality. So as a result, when the craze of the fad part of this knowledge wears down, the subconscious mind is still strong enough to reject what they have learned, and then they go on back into the church. Why? Because they never dumped or diffused the original imprint of mind control. Now, that's why they say that you should go into meditation.
Exactly, that's the key.
And ask your soul. You ask your subconscious mind. You send it a message. You say, I know that you have been wronged and you have received wrong information. You received this wrong information because the society around me gave me this wrong information and I didn't know any better. Now I'm giving you the right information and I now release you. And you have to do some type of clearing and banishing of that information, or you have to indicate to the subconscious mind that it has received wrong information and it must now accept the new information or the new food for thought. And this is in everything. So this is why I know people that heard this black conscious information and yet went and voted for Kerry. As if that was going to really make a difference. They got so caught up into what was going on, you see. Or went and voted for Bush. You say, well, why did you do this thing? Because they received the information that voting and one of these white men was going to do good by them years ago. And then they went and could not break the imperial breeding process. Let's look at that. When someone breeds you, that is manufacturing a product. It's like a dog that learns a certain trick. And when someone breeds you, that means you become a product or an invention of that which you was bred on. Unfortunate for us, because our mind is much more sophisticated, we do have a subconscious mind. You know, animals, they can have a certain instinct. Like, take for instance, those dogs at the racetrack that race after that mechanical rabbit.
Right.
Unlike us, every now and then that dog will catch up to that mechanical rabbit. And once it catches up to that mechanical rabbit, they can never get that dog to race again. Another thing about dogs, to show you how you can be trained as a human to accept wrong data. And it can affect your behavior based on the environment you grow up in. And it has nothing to do with who you really are. There's an old trick when they have dog fights, pit bull fights. Every now and then, they have the pit bull fights and they fight to the death. Every now and then, one person will come and will throw a pit bull throw a pit bull in the pen, and this pit bull beats this other pit bull to death, and the other pit bull would not even put up a fight. It would not fight that the other pit bull at all. That is the old trick, because what had happened is the person had gone in and thrown a female pit bull into the ring. And although the female pit bull will maul that male to death maybe because it's based on she's trying to survive, that other male has enough sense to know that you just do not fight your female species.
Right, right.
And it will not fight it to the point that it will even die first before it fight. Now, they got better sense than fucking humans.
That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. Because the male will not go against nature.
That's
and
right.
what we have actually gone against our own natural makeup.
Right.
Just like you talk to sisters, man, who get abused by men. Now you ask yourself, Bobby, you a man and I'm a man. How can a man just beat on a damn woman and still feel like a fucking man after he does it? Because 9 out of 10, most women are defenseless. Now don't give me that because they got women out here that beat your ass. Don't get me wrong.
That's right.
Because I'm telling you something, they got sisters out here that kick your ass.
Right.
Badly.
I have met
Fuck you up.
I have met up with him in elementary school.
Yeah. I got my ass whooped when I was in the 6th grade.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Major ass whipping.
Yeah, but I did go back and get a little piece out of it though. It was cool. But the bottom line was
I was never fortunate.
yeah, I was fortunate to go back. I took that ass from him, but I made up for it. I mean, you know, I proved my manhood in another kind of way. But my point is this.
Oh.
My point is this, man. You're right. We have gone totally against the nature. For instance, dookie love. Now, animals don't even do shit like that. Animals do. Now, dog will sniff a dog's ass.
But they're only sniffing it to find out whether it's male or female.
But they sniff it to find out what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But they won't go up in it.
It's even worse than that. To go even back to a primordial aspect. You talking about beating a woman's behind. To show you that it's not about our nature, I have gotten in fight with men and won and felt bad for getting in a fight with the brother.
Right. Yeah.
You ever did that before?
Yeah.
You beat a nigga ass and then
you feel sorry for him.
You feel sorry for him.
Right.
Now, that means that we are people that wasn't a part of our nature to even get in those fights in the first place. We know that because John Henry Clark took a group of children to Africa. And they stayed over there 3 months. And he asked them, what was it different than you did when you played with these African children compared to playing with the American children? And they came up with all these things, and he was like, no, that ain't it. And they couldn't understand what it was. And he said, you've been over here 3 months and you didn't have one fight. Now that is almost inconceivable in Western culture. To have children to play together 3 months and not have a fight. So it is possible, as it used to be a reality in our civilizations thousands of years past, where you can grow up in a society where fighting another male is taboo.
That's right.
So if we know that, what do you think about a person who has no feeling when they fight a female? If I can feel guilty based on something in my soul,
right,
beating a nigga ass, and I used to fight like a motherfucker until I fought up until high school, and then the niggas started getting 6'4", 6'5", and I just got smart. But I used to feel bad about whipping this guy's ass. I have to feel sorry for him. And yet, how can you have another male to go and beat up on a female?
Man, I can't.
And don't even feel sorry. It's no one is because the simple fact he is in this society, we have more training on hating females than we do our own boys. That's some admiration for some people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a whole other thing. Like I'm saying now, it's now at a particular point that it is prevalent now, and it's common knowledge that 80% now of the whole rap industry is bisexual.
Yeah.
But we talking about a group of guys where you don't even see the archetype of the female singer, and the one that's the top one is a lesbian. You see what I'm saying? So if you have an imbalance of female and male, and you don't have the female presence there, then that means you'll have young guys' minds that the people that they have admiration for and their heroes always being males, and you have heroes and no heroines, then what will happen here is, sooner or later, that becomes more than just a deep admiration. It also becomes sexual. And so as a result, in the course of 10 years now, the homosexual, the rap industry is a homosexual phenomenon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jay-Z, LL Cool J. I mean,
all the niggas, and it's interesting because our paradigm of what our original motif of music, you always had strong sisters. You see what I'm saying? That also dominated the landscape.
Right.
In our music. And this is the first time ever, and especially the last 10 years, where you've had straightly a male-dominated medium. And as a result, now you got young boys and stuff. It's a whole new world of homosexuality that was also designed by the Jews and the powers that be. You see what I'm saying? To
effeminize the men.
That's right.
Which is part of the destruction.
That's right. And I see it going on now. I see whole groups of guys, young people, especially in the college down there, the black colleges in Atlanta, it's a microcosm of the rest of the country. You will have whole groups of guys that will hang out with males on one side of the street, and the females be on the other side of the street, and they won't even have nothing to do with them.
If you ever noticed, man, I've always been different, but I ain't never been one of them kind of guys that always want to hang out with the fucking guys all the time.
Well, see, me, I grew up in a thing whereas, okay, you had your boys, but your boys, your hanging consisted of getting up on the women.
Right.
My boys, my partners, was guys who assisted me in getting up on the women.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, it was a rule that you can be as good chummy pal as you want to, but you wasn't nothing if you wasn't getting no booty.
That's right. Yeah.
And you was defined based on what you were to your woman. And we did that because we also had music from Frankie Beverly and Mays to Barry White.
Right.
From Nat King Cole.
Right.
That defined a man's love for his woman. That's
right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Even in the major groups, Isaac brothers were singing about love.
You know, I was listening to them another day, man. You know, I don't mean the real. You know a group that still sounds the same as the fucking Stylistics. Them motherfuckers ain't lost shit.
Yeah, you got something like that. That's where
the Stylistics can still get down, man.
That's right. It's just like Frankie Beverly and Mays. It's been 36 years and their stuff is almost identical.
Damn.
In concert. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then again, they didn't let somebody exploit them in trying to change their style.
Right.
They didn't sell out to cross over.
Right. And that's the problem. A lot of the groups here, you know what? Speaking of that, man, we're gonna move on to. We're gonna talk about, cause I want to talk about these young people just for a brief second, and them fucking white T-shirts.
Yeah.
Cause that shit's becoming a
That's
goddamn.
interesting.
That white T-shirt phenomenon.
Here goes again.
But before you, let me say this before I lose the thought. You mentioned something about selling out and not selling out like certain groups. Because like I said, man, you know, I got some videos on people like the older groups, like the Stylistics, Dramatics, Blue Magic, even motherfucking Harold Melvin and Blue Notes, and Harold Melvin been dead. But the group still is going, still kicking, right? But then you got some niggas like Dr. Dre. Now, he the one that produces all this shit for Eminem. Mm-hmm. Even the lyrics that talked about the black woman, calling the bitches and hoes, Dr. Dre was behind that, and he brought out the fucking Beastie Boys. Now, let me ask you a question. What do we do about niggas like him? I mean, he's just one of a few of them, but Dr. Dre is probably the worst violator of this shit. Now, your boy dropped something about 2 weeks ago, Most Def, I was telling you about. Because I'm not into all that rap shit. I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I'm a music man.
Yeah,
I'm the rhythmic.
It's not music.
It's not music. I don't feel that shit.
I don't hear music, the muse,
right.
It's not considered music to me.
Right.
Because the word music is by definition of what it is, the muse, and it's talking about the spears.
That's right. Right. You're dealing with the vibratory rate.
That's right.
You understand? And you resonate. But my thing is this. Most Def. So all y'all hear me out there in TV land? Get the CD by Most Def. You might be able to get it because they did a callback on it about 2 weeks ago where it's on cut number 5. It's called They're Raping Us. And he is telling you about that fucking Jew. Now, I don't know how long his ass is going to be making music, but this brother dropped it on the Jew. He made it clear there's tall Israelis and homosexual white boys that want rap music. So, just wanted to drop that in there. Go to your store. You might be able to get it. You might not. But it's new. They've been doing a callback on it. My understanding is they're going to call it back, take the track off, and then re-release it again. So you might luck up and get the original joint. Get that, because the boy's dropping on that. And then getting back to their own sellout niggas like Dr. Dre, who's pumping these crackers up now to take over the genre.
Well, you got to understand, all those guys, man, the ones who remain in that, because see, you got to understand this part. By it not being a real bona fide
art. Yeah.
It's fad. It's done based on fad. That's why, for the majority of them that come out, you might have 4 or 5 of them that's a mainstay, but the majority of them can't go past their second album. And for the mere fact that they have had almost 100 artists that came out the last 10 years that can't go past. It used to be real bad. It was a one-cut deal. That means that it's not a bona fide art deal, and the government or the record companies only sell it through fad. Mm-hmm. That's how they do it. So it's a gimmick,
right,
to sell it. It's because it's not selling based on talent.
Right.
And what you do based on talent. You see what I'm saying? So, and the music is not deep enough in the particular aspect. It doesn't have enough range to become a genre, mm-hmm. or become a mania, or become a standard, mm-hmm. or a stylized type of institution. Because it's all nothing but cut up from old 70s and 80s music and 60s music. Sampling. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it doesn't have enough depth to become a standard. You see what I'm saying? It's a debauchery. So in order for these ones to go past the 2 or 3 year mark, they got to get into all types of whatever it is to survive. In this particular case, sell out.
Sell out is the survival.
It's all about the mighty dollar. If I can make a rich man, a white boy rich, and get rich doing it,
right,
I'm going to do it, because this is not the type of industry where you hone in your skills and become a Maurice White or Stevie Wonder, that your stuff can last for 10 years.
Right.
So after your gimmick and your 15 minutes of fame is up, you got to go to desperate measures.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what type of thing that is and all. And it's just to explore an exploited type of system by the European to make mass amount of dollars with very little talent.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think it's had such longevity? Why do you think rappers last so fucking long,
man? It had longevity. It would have died out in about 5-10 years. Because, see, what it was is this here. It was supposed to be a dessert. Now, I'm not trying to say it wasn't supposed to exist. But it wasn't supposed to become the dominant music, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You got children that's grown up who's never heard real music.
Never.
If you go to a restaurant and you have your main course, and then you have your desserts, you know, your chocolate mousse,
apple pie,
ice cream, or whatever. That's a side item.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not the main course. So rap was supposed to be a side item to basically put emphasis on a greater, something that was already there. This is a side shoot to go along and complement it. The white boys saw that after Run DMC sold millions of records in 1984, that number one, they could exploit this music, they could make it into, they could push it as an art form, and they can make millions of dollars. Meanwhile, they could train generations by cutting out music theory in high schools and junior high schools. They could force the people who would not grow up musically inclined and musically educated, they can force them to accept the side item, this gimmick. A gimmick. Meanwhile, they could get a generation that's dependent on nothing but gimmick, and they would lose the ear or not be trained in the ear to accept greater music. And as a result, they could destroy the existing music industry in the process. See, people don't understand what happened. It was a grave debauchery and a tragedy what rap brought about. Now, I'm not blaming the rappers because there was a conspiracy behind them.
Right.
It's basically the music moguls, white music moguls,
Jews,
which is owned by, because it's based on distribution. It ain't based on no record labels.
Right, distribution.
It's based on who controls the distribution, controls the record industry.
which is the Jews.
And we don't do that. So the people who set over making sure that the music survives decided that black people who was responsible for the sole creativity of world music in the 20th century. You see, from ragtime, jazz, blues, funk, whatever, that it was time to not let the creativity and the talent of these people go into the millennium, the new millennium. So as a result, they found out through rap that they could basically destroy the basic culture of what music was in the 20th century. On the other hand, they got rid of, and this is the tragic part, people who had been established in the music industry, A&R people, arrangers, producers, that came, that was needed to keep our classical music, and I say classical music, anywhere from Duke Ellington to Bootsy Collins, our classical standard music, all types of producers, arrangers, and all those people were completely wiped out by 1996. Because you didn't need them now. You're going to take our existing catalogs and make new music from it.
Right.
And what artists that do sing,
Gotta sing that shit.
that do sing that's not rap, they got this, number one, they got to make remakes of the old stuff. And then they got to sing by sample also, and it's just a horrible thing. So they were able to destroy a whole legacy and industry of black music through using the rap and exploiting that type thing. Now the other thing is the fad shit that came, which is this new thing now. The reason why the guys are walking around with the white t-shirts on. Because there's a song about I do this in my white tee, I do that in my white tee. And as a result, you got every little child in America with white t-shirts on, which is going to be your monkey ass going to catch pneumonia in your white tee. So pray, because it's been kind of warm on the East Coast. But these Negroes are so zombified to some cold days. These niggas was walking around in their white tee. Like it's a uniform because of a rap song. Now they got one called a black t-shirt out. So we're talking about literally zombies, and I want to know what kind of mamas would allow this shit.
You know, that's the key, because you got, I mean, from little teeny kids, and some of these niggas be having 4 or 5 them t-shirts on. Long.
Right.
Them shirts be long, man, pants be so long that they look like a fucking accordion when they get down near the ankle.
Yeah.
Fucked up shit. Look like everybody like Snoopy or some shit.
Right.
And it's like this in every city in the United States. I mean, it's like a chain reaction of automatons.
Yeah.
It's like somebody to put a program in and spit these motherfuckers out. And they're just everywhere. And it's ridiculous. And sometimes I look at the faces of white people, Now, you know how you think when you see fucked up shit. Can you imagine what them crackers be thinking when they see some of these savage Negroes? Which is really sad because it almost justifying them want to start wiping niggas out.
That's the whole key.
Yeah.
Well, the whole key of coining thug nations is to wipe black folks out. You see what I'm saying? Especially with this whole homeland security.
And that's another thing, people, too. You know, the average Negro don't even know that homeland security even exists, and they keep telling you that
it's the basis of why we don't have no more rights. We never had any, but whatever rights that white folks had is all gone in this country.
That's right.
We are under martial law as we speak.
I tell folks right here today, you living in the police state, just like when you was talking about the election, and I'm telling you what's going on. Look, they have been training foreign military in this fucking country anywhere from 10 to 14 years. I'm talking about from the Russians to the fucking Chinese to the Africans, because if you notice, the American military is damn near depleted. And when they usher this New World Order shit in, they gonna need some motherfuckers that's gonna be taking care of this shit, because the fucking National Guards are gone too. So they gotta train somebody to protect this land, or to give you a delusion of protection when they usher in this new bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to get your own American people to kill your own people,
right?
Because they got families, they got mamas, cousins, they're interrelated, but they can bring motherfuckers over here.
You don't have no allegiance.
That's right. They look just like you, like the Africans. They bring them black motherfuckers over here, and they would kill us.
That's right.
Without even thinking about it.
Right. And not only them, they are predisposed with thinking we savages because they have had years taught to them by the British, the French, and all of those people that we are savages, which is another form of divide and conquer and mind control. Not the ones that's in the bush, but the ones who they educate to come over here.
Right.
And the ones that will be a part of this army.
That's right.
They hate us.
Right.
And that's because of mind control and a design by the white European powers. And
let's tell you something else to think about what the white folks are doing when it comes to black folks, that we still don't see the game. Now, you know those jobs that's been traditionally black, like cab drivers, security guards, they have systematically switched them over to Africans to give you a delusion that it's still black people, and black people have been phased the fuck out.
Phased out, especially in places like Atlanta, which is still the South. Now, how the hell are you going to get this influx? And in Atlanta, it's divided up between the Nigerians and the Ethiopians. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same design of divide and conquer.
That's right. And the Ethiopians are bad, but they ain't nothing worse than them goddamn Nigerians.
Yeah.
Nigerians are some thug, no good individuals. I can't think of the name of them Nigerians. And people don't understand, like I said again, they're pulling a switch right before your eyes. You think that black folks are secure in certain things when they've already been fucking replaced. But they'll bring somebody in that have the same look as you, color-wise, but hate your guts.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I said the insanity come in, because people are not really paying attention to what's going on. You know, folks also don't take the end of an age, because we say end of days, but it's end of an age, because we already went, you know, like I said, we're in the time, we're in Pisces now, we left Aquarius, and we're in Pisces now, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Something to that effect.
Who knows these days when it comes to the calendar?
Right. But my point is, it's the end of an age. Now, we look in the Baltimore area and the D.C. area, especially Baltimore. Man, I'm telling you, them white T-shirts, because I heard of Philadelphia. In the schools and the rec centers, they banned that shit. They locking folks down for that shit up there, because it's become such a public nuisance. You see what I'm saying? And you think about it, it is an eyesore when you see this shit everywhere you go, in the white T-shirts. But man, as far as healing, let's talk about the heart chakra, man.
Before we do that, I want you to give the people this particular information, because this is the same equivalence of someone going to South Africa and seeing the magnificent civilization that the white man built, only to go a couple of blocks across town and see the shanty towns, and people, it's almost like two different dimensions of people living in something that would be almost subhuman.
You
And
know,
right here in this country, we have one of the greatest edifices that people from all over the world go.
and that's Las Vegas.
Tell them about it.
And it's Las Vegas. And let me explain to you, let me drop this on you. In Las Vegas, you got some of the most beautiful hotels. I've been fortunate enough to have stayed at the Bellagio, the Luxor, the Mandalay Bay. One of my best friends is general manager at the Excalibur, New York. So I've been very blessed to have stayed in Las Vegas on numerous occasions. Matter of fact, kind of regular. But on the north side of Las Vegas, I've seen something that I've never in my life have ever seen when it comes to poverty. On the north side, you got black folks living on the street. I don't mean on the fucking sidewalk. The streets are shut down from tents, where you got people living on the street in tents, walk around with food baskets, with all their belongings in them, up under the overpass and the bridges, huddled up by the hundreds. And I wish I had the pictures to show you right now. Maybe on the next installment, I can show you some of the pictures. But this is right here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Now here it is, you're talking about a dichotomy that's unbelievable. Because I went to the Luxor Hotel, and it's something that looks like something in another world. Mandalay Bay, Circus.
Right.
Like I said, the Bellagio, the MGM Grand,
And all the hotels, I mean, you got Caesar's Palace, they're all up and down the place.
whole strip, and it's interesting with international people from all over the world.
All of them.
And they deemed on entertainment TV that the most unique place on the whole planet would be Las Vegas, because they got reproductions of Paris, France.
That's right. Paris.
Egypt.
That's right. Luxor. That's
see what
right.
I'm saying?
New York. That's right. All of them.
Everything is right there in Vegas, and they say so. If it was any place that you would go that want to catch anything on the planet, they say it would be Vegas.
Right.
And they say the only place that truly don't sleep, New York sleeps now. After Giuliani got to do with that shit, it sleeps big time. Is Vegas. The point I'm trying to make here is how could you have such a dichotomy, and yet the worst land is forgotten as far as black people conditions is right there on the other side of town. And who would think that something that amassed that many millions every minute would have something on that level of poverty that looked like something in another country?
Look, the north side of Las Vegas looked like Beirut. And even worse than that, and what's worse than that, in that area, you have the highest concentrations of churches and outreach centers. It's like a full corner of churches and outreach centers, and you got that kind of poverty. I'm talking about, look. Now we all know Atlantic City, once you go up that damn boardwalk, ain't never poverty off that boardwalk.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like,
ironically, it's one of they say some of the blacks do worse there than any place in the country.
Atlantic City, but Las Vegas is worse on that north side. Look, I had a friend of mine that ride me around because I couldn't believe how bad it was. So I went back and took my partner back. I said, man, you get to see this. And we went up in there, and they got apartment complexes that black folks live in that got high walls and barbed wire fence around it. Looked like a prison. That most of the people walking around look like disease. I'm telling you, I've never, and to be honest with you, it kind of hurts. It really does. It really hurts because it's common knowledge.
But it's interesting how you can have a people that can come to you and give you this illusion that we live in the greatest country on earth, so much that you can strap an M16 or whatever they use now and go to another man's country and kill the babies,
That's right.
the children, women that's darker than white women.
That's right.
Because they don't let you know something. When you go to Fallujah and Mogul, those people are darker than me.
That's right, and we got pictures of it. We got
pictures.
We got pictures on tape where we have done, I think, About 6 months ago, we did. I think we did election.
The election.
And we
showed
you the
dark-skinned black people that looked like dark-skinned East Indians, and they were blacker than me.
And me.
And they always show you that white area, but they don't know. And they said that Fallujah and Mosul, in the same places that they were attacking now, that's under siege, was 85% blue-black. Now, like I said, they had a Middle Eastern exhibit in 1989 in Atlanta at the Forum, at the M Forum, which is a convention center down there. And I went to it, Middle Eastern convention in Saudi Arabia, and I asked the guy, "Am I at the African exhibit?" I said, "Because all these people are black." He said, "Well, it's known. Now, most of those people are real dark-skinned people, but they never show you that. But see, they never show you that. But a person can strap on a gun and go to these countries and say, we want them to be under democracy and the American way of life, and the American way of life is a fucking fraud.
It's a fraud.
We got one man, one vote here, and we live in poverty."
Like I said, and this is, now, and like Bobby, he travels cities doing lectures. He can tell you about Detroit. Man, it's Cleveland. I mean, St. Louis. These places are wastelands. But Las Vegas, Nevada, I never thought that I would see the kind of poverty. And you know what? It's common knowledge in Las Vegas with white folks, because most of the people I know in Las Vegas are white. And they all say they don't go on that side of town. Guess what they said? They said, it used to be that way. They said after the riots and Rodney King, they said the Negroes just went crazy and tore everything up. And the crackers said they ain't fixing up shit. So they pretty much just let that into town, just pretty much just rot.
And yet they can come and say that how they are so humane and how Vegas generates money for all this and all that. And they say if you don't clean up your own home first, how you going to spread abroad?
Well, like I said, again, the word democracy means military rule. And for my Christian brothers and sisters, the word Lord has nothing whatsoever to do with the God. The word Lord means noble. Everybody in England, from your prince, your king, your dukes, your earls, your judges, your lawyers, your barristers, all of them have the title Lord. Okay?
And it also means law.
Right.
Also, so the noble. It's interesting. But I want to go into something right now, which will be a doorway that will bring the speed up this spiritual thing that's going on, because the Hopi Indians talk about that when the war comes down, the powers that be the ruling powers, in this case, let's make no bones about it, it's the white man. Because we don't rule nothing. The ruling powers
rule the globe
are the Jews. And I want to say that the European Jews.
Right. The Ashkenazis.
They will get in a fight with the group of entities called the Shekinahs. And the Shekinahs will destroy them because of the simple fact they will be geared to fight a physical entity, and the Shekinahs will be a physical, spiritual entity. And they'll be geared to fight a physical entity. And it's not by mistake that the Kabbalah talks about Shekinah that's coming back, the feminine face of God, and the Hopi Indians say Tachinas or something like that. Anyway, it's interesting, but I want to say this particular part. In order for us to get to that particular aspect, and it's going to happen anyway, but there's some things that you can do. And that is that the Venus realm of 666 was June the 6th, 2004, which is June 6th, the 6 and 6, and 2002 and 4 and 6, 666. This new energy of the divine goddess Venus came back into our sphere. And it cultivated into a pentagram one day after the eclipse. Recently in October, the last week of October. So we have this energy with us that we can access, but it's going to take this. It's going to take you opening up your heart chakra. Now, what do we mean by the heart chakra? Well, there's one way to open up the heart chakra is if any of you all, the first way is if any of you all feel love towards someone, you can't fight it. You can't rationalize it away and hide from it. Let it flow. That's the first way. The other way is truth. It means you can't be Lawson-hearted, as my mate Babylonia Linda says, but it also means that you can't hide ulterior motives. In this world of this Venus energy, which is Lakshmi, which is the goddess of prosperity, there's two goddesses. There's Lakshmi and there's her sister Alakshmi, and whenever you do not go by the way of the heart, you get the wrath of Alakshmi, which is poverty, mayhem, and all types of problems, opposed to Lakshmi, which is the goddess of prosperity, reciprocity, or whatever. So, in order to do that, she resides in your heart chakra. So it means that you can't tell yourself no lies no more. Your reality is what you're going to have to stick by, and you're going to have to be truthful with yourself. And to be truthful with yourself means that you cannot have ulterior motives and fake things anymore.
You gotta come real.
You gotta come real. This also means, and this is very key, this also means that we gotta get rid of this age-old tradition of getting over on our black brothers and sisters. We're gonna start in our neighborhood. Getting over. Several things happen. You know, person come in and borrow your tapes, just small things. Never see them again. Borrow your books. Never see them again. Know what I'm saying?
Borrow a couple dollars. Never pay them back.
Never pay you back. Say they're going to break you off some money, and then you don't see them for 2-3 months. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 3 months. That get-over mentality has to leave. You know what I'm saying? That get-over mentality has to leave. The phoniness where you come in and, claim to be one thing and you're not. You see what I'm saying? Now, it also means if you are an asshole, let it be known that you're an asshole. Mm-hmm. Don't fake the funk. Another thing also, too, for the people that want prosperity with Lakshmi, one way not to get prosperity is to hoard.
That's right.
You got to let it flow. So that means if you're stingy, cheat, and a miser, then this flow says, well, that person is holding on to something, so it doesn't need prosperity. You see what I'm saying? The how it flows, if you let it flow, it will come back to you.
If you let it flow, you get more.
Right. But the greed of our black people that will get a position and get a certain aspect of thing and hold on to it because they don't want nobody to have it, only to lose it when they die and their children get it and the children go through it in a week. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Or they lose it by some jackass or some white man come and tell them they gotta, tell them some other thing, some deal that he done entrusted in the white man and he done go and went and stole your money. You see what I'm saying? You see, you have to be truthful with yourself and you got to be straight up with others. And that's dealing with the heart chakra.
That's right.
You can't hide behind your own egos anymore and your own personal selfishness.
The ego is the enemy.
The enemy. And we're talking about destroy the selfish aspect of yourself. Black people need to do this as just a therapeutic measurement to fight off being inhuman.
Yeah, because we have lost our humanism. We have lost it. And
in
like,
this particular case, we're talking about the way of the goddess. You see. And you just got to be straight up. You got to do the same thing as a mother would do to an infant child. She's going to be straight up with that infant child. She can't lie to it. You know, certain things it needs, it ain't no negotiation in the shit.
that's right.
It's either love, you see what I'm saying,